Hi folks, Eric here from Reddy Vineyards, and it's nice to be with you. This is certainly an interesting time that we're living through right now. The coronavirus crisis has us locked down and quarantined in our homes, but at the same time, it is also an opportunity for us to slow down, relax, spend a little bit more time with family, and we are still able to continue to enjoy life's little pleasures like premium Texas wine. In order to make your stay at home a little bit more enjoyable, we at Reddy Vineyards have crafted 2 COVID-19 survival packs for you to enjoy during your self-quarantine. We have a package of our red wines featuring our award winners, including the 2015 Field Blend, which was selected as the best Texas red at the 2020 Texas International Wine Competition. In addition, it features the 2017 TNT, which is our Tempranillo and Touriga Nacional blend, which is absolutely delicious, and that was selected as the Reserve Class Tempranillo champion at the Houston Rodeo International Wine Competition, as well as our 2017 Field Blend, which is a gold medal winner, and a new release, our M Cubed Red Blend, which is an awesome blend of 3 different French varietals. But what we're going to talk about today is our springtime COVID kit. This survival kit features 4 of our new releases that we're really excited about. These are wines that were just bottled and released in the last couple months. And in this pack you get 4 awesome wines, including our 100% Sauvignon Blanc, our 2019 VMR White Blend, our first ever Rosé, and a very special limited production Reserve Viognier and Marcin blend. So I'm really happy that you've selected this survival kit, and I know that this is really going to be, I think, an enjoyable tasting experience and a little bit of something new for you to enjoy with your family. And what we're going to do is taste through these wines. I'm going to give you a little bit of backstory about each of these wines, tell you a little bit more about Reddy Vineyards, and lead you through a virtual tasting of these 4 wines that you'll find in your new release survival kit. Okay. So for those of you who haven't had the opportunity to visit Reddy Vineyards before, we are located in Brownfield, Texas, south of Lubbock, about a half an hour. And Reddy Vineyards is one of the leading vineyards in the state of Texas. We have been a premier producer and supplier of premium Texas grapes for nearly 25 years, working with nearly 30 producers annually to supply them our premium Texas grapes. We are the most diverse vineyard in the state as well, with 38 different varietals. And our founder, VJ Reddy, has really been a pioneer of the Texas wine industry, a champion of experimentation and innovation, really being a huge advocate for the continued growth of premium Texas grapes and the production of outstanding Texas wines. So we're really excited to be able to present these wines to you. The 4 wines that you're trying today are all estate grown and produced. So all of the fruit that you'll find in these wines comes from our vineyard in West Texas and is produced at our world-class state-of-the-art winery on site as well. And what's really neat about these wines is that they're all very unique expressions of the terroir, or the place of West Texas. For those of you who haven't ventured out there, West Texas, in the Texas High Plains growing region, is the leading zone within the state for growing premium grapes. And there's a couple reasons for this. The first is the elevation. Reddy Vineyard sits at 3,305 feet above sea level, which is really, really high. That's considerably higher than most well-known regions that are producing premium grapes. Think of places like Napa Valley and Sonoma, even Washington State. And what this elevation does is it really helps maintain a more moderate temperature. So in East Texas, when it's 100 degrees, it's cooler in West Texas. And especially in the evenings, we get these great temperature changes that allow the grapes to really cool down and relax a little bit during the growing season. And this really just produces better grapes because they maintain their acidity, they find more balance, and we can let them hang longer on the vine, so ultimately they become more complex as well. I think you'll see that in these wines. We also have exquisite soils out there. These burnt orange, sandy clay loam soils are just terrific for growing grapevines. They are great for drainage. They also force the vine to struggle a little bit, which you may have heard of that technique in passing elsewhere as well. That really helps the vine sort of fight a little bit harder and produce really terrific fruit. And it's also great for pest resistance as well. Finally, we have this wind. If you've ever been out to Lubbock or West Texas, you know that it's always a little breezy. Sometimes it's gusty. And that wind is also really influential as well because it helps maintain some positive and continuous airflow through the vineyard. So even in times of rain or when it's a little damp, that wind will come through and sort of refresh the vineyard and bring in some fresh air and help avoid issues like fungal infections and mildew and rot, which is really, really good. Okay. So yeah, why don't we jump into our first wine and start to have some fun. So while you're pouring it, what we'll start with is our 100% Sauvignon Blanc. So get that open and ready if you haven't already. Maybe you're already halfway through the bottle, which would be terrific. I've already got my sample poured as well, so I'm ahead of you, or maybe I'm with you there, okay? So what we're gonna be sampling, as I mentioned, is our 100% Estate Sauvignon Blanc, 2019 vintage. We just bottled this in January and released it shortly thereafter. This is really a tremendous wine. This is, again, 100% estate fruit. It's the first Sauvignon Blanc that we've crafted, and we've really tried to create it in a way that's different from other Texas producers, really allowing more of the vibrancy of the Sauvignon Blanc to shine. It's a bit brighter, a bit crisper, and I think a lot more refreshing than some of the other Sauvignon Blancs that you may have seen. And we're really trying to, bring to the table something that will keep you cool and really refreshed during the spring and summer. In the glass, you can see it's really light in color, but when you smell it, go ahead and take a nice whiff of that. You could swirl the glass too, and that'll lift up some of the aromatics that are trapped in the wine. You'll find that it's just really, really brilliant, very aromatic. The flavors just leaping out of the glass up to your nose. And they're really bright, and they're tropical, and they're fresh fruit. And they're really, really lovely. I know whenever I sip this wine, it really gets my palate excited. I almost start salivating, getting ready for what's to come. And that's one of the reasons why you want to take that opportunity to smell the wine too before you sip it. It kind of piques your palate and gets you ready for what's to come. So go ahead, sniff it, and let's have a taste. That's just lovely. It's so bright. It's got that nice acidity that comes through. It really helps lift the flavors. This isn't a flat or flabby wine. This is something that's really got a lot of character to it. It's kind of bouncing on your palate. Almost gives the impression of maybe being a little effervescent, which is just really, really nice. For me, I get a ton of tropical flavors on this wine. I get some mango, a little bit of pineapple, some white grapefruit. I get a little bit of banana as well. It's just really layered and complex. And one of the nice things about this wine too, it's only 12.5% alcohol. So it's a little bit lower on the end of the spectrum, which is just perfect for sipping during the afternoon. You can open it for Sunday brunch, and it'll just be something that'll start your day off on the right foot. Okay. Yeah, one of my favorites, absolutely delicious, really nice Sauvignon Blanc. Okay. Now, as you know, all of these wines you could find at reddyvineyards.com as well. And then we do have some select partnerships throughout Texas, primarily fine dining, where you can find some of these wines. If you have specific questions, you could always reach out to us at info@reddyvineyards.com, and we can tell you more about where you might be able to find these in your local area. But why don't we move on to our second wine? Okay, while you're opening this and taking a pour, I'll tell you a little bit about our 2019 VMR White Blend. Okay, kind of an unusual name, but if you think about it, it makes a lot of sense. This is a blend of Viognier, Marcin, and Roussanne, hence the VMR, in nearly equal proportions. Okay, this wine is 13.5% alcohol. Each of these varietals was picked independently, so we picked them when each of them were ripe, and then we sort of made each of these varietals into their own unique wine, and then before bottling, blended them together in a blend that we really found maximized each of these varietals and really made the whole sort of bigger and better than each of its individual components. Okay. These varietals are something that you may have come across in Texas before. They are traditionally what we call Rhone varietals. They hail from the Rhone Valley in France. And like Rhone, West Texas actually has a similar climate. It's warm, it's dry, it can be hot sometimes, but these are varietals that really thrive in the warmer Texas weather. Marcin is my personal favorite of the trio and really adds a little bit more richness and unctuousness to the wine. And we'll get to have a really neat experience with some Marcin and some Viognier at the end of the tasting, but we'll visit this one first. Okay. This was done 100% in stainless steel, so again, it's going to be on the fresher side. It's going to be a little bit more crisp and light. And one thing that I think is really interesting about our wines that you may have already noticed is that we block designate all of our wines. Okay, for us that's really important. Basically, what these blocks are, they are the regions within the vineyard where each of these varietals are grown. They're sort of the rows, if you will. Okay. For us, being able to block designate these wines for you is really sort of our stamp of authenticity. It means that you can come to our vineyard and I could show you exactly in the vineyard where the fruit in this bottle came from, which is something that not a lot of producers are able to show you, which I think is really neat. For us, being authentically Texas, 100% estate grown, everything 100% Texas fruit from our vineyard and then produced on site is really the forefront of how we maintain quality and really the best representation of Texas wines. Okay, so you should have your VMR in the glass. If you compare it to that Sauvignon Blanc, you'll see that this is a little bit darker and richer in color. Okay, it's a little bit more golden and robust, whereas the Sauvignon Blanc was a little bit more pale yellow. Okay, so give that a nice swirl and a sip. And right away, you'll see that this wine has a lot of different characteristics than what you got from the Sauvignon Blanc. Oh yeah, it's just richer. It's got more body to it. So those of you who aren't familiar with that term, body refers to the weight of the wine on your palate. So if you think about it in terms of something you might be more familiar with, like milk, for instance, a light-bodied wine is sort of like skim milk. A medium-bodied wine is something sort of like 2% milk. And you know it's there, it's a little bit creamier, it's a little bit fatter. And then half and half or whole milk is more like a full-bodied offering for your palate. It's definitely there, you feel it. It's actually got some weight on your palate, it's creamier. So that same analogy works for wine as well. So this is definitely something that's a little bit bigger, more medium body than the Sauvignon Blanc, which I classify more on the lighter side. But the fruit characteristics are just really, really lovely here. The Sauvignon Blanc, we talked about a lot of tropical fruit flavors. In the VMR, we get a lot more tree fruit and maybe stone fruit. So think about that for a second. What comes to mind? So if you're thinking tree fruit, I'm thinking apples and pears. And for me, I get a lot of like yellow apple, just juicy pear on this, okay? I also get some stone fruit characteristics as well. I get a little bit of like a peach or like a ripe nectarine characteristic. Not picked at the end of the summer where it's really laden with sugar and it's super juicy. It's more that lean, crisp style. So you get this really amazing balance of both sweet and tart fruit characteristics that really just has great depth and complexity. The finish is long too. I've been talking about this wine for at least a minute now, and I still taste it from that sip. And that's really a hallmark of a top quality wine. You want something that not only has great aromatics, has great depth and complexity and a lot of flavor characteristics on the palate, but it's something that will have that nice long finish too and sort of stay with you as you sip it as well. The VMR White Blend. Really, really lovely. Okay. So the third wine that we're going to sample is our rosé. And this is a wine that I am just in love with right now. I'm so excited that the weather is getting warmer. I'm going to be drinking tons and tons of this rosé, and it is absolutely gorgeous. This is the first rosé that we've ever produced, and I think we did a really, really nice job with it. This is more of a Provençal style rosé. So what I mean by that is that it's a dry style rosé. It's a little bit lighter and crisper on the palate. And we're using two varietals that are classic of this French region that the wine traditionally would hail from. So this is a blend of Cinsault and Mourvedre. And these are grapes that were just really exceptional for us during the 2019 harvest. They just offered a lot of beautiful flavors and color. For me, the color on this wine is really exquisite. We did just a little bit of skin contact to extract that beautiful color into the wine, and I think it really shows quite well on the palate as well. So this comes from blocks 5 and 18 in our vineyard. Okay. I've got that in a glass here, so take a second. Another really special thing about our wines is that they are all very small production. Okay. When you buy a Reddy Vineyards wine, not only do you know that it's 100% Texas fruit, it's 100% estate fruit from the Reddy Vineyards blocks in Brownfield, but you also know that it is of the highest quality. And that's because we make just a very small, almost boutique level of production of each of these wines. Okay. The rosé, for instance, we made just roughly 700 cases. And that's true of the Sauvignon Blanc and the VMR as well. So these are really micro production type of wines. And for us, that's really important. We're looking to make wines of a high quality and aren't as concerned about the quantity. We want to make sure that the wines that we are producing really represent the best that Texas has to offer. And then when you open it and share it with your friends and family at home, that they are really amazed by what's in the glass. I tell folks all the time, go grab something that's similar from California. Grab a Sauvignon Blanc that's from Loire in France or from New Zealand, and put them in a brown bag next to our Reddy Vineyards selections. And I think not only would people have a hard time identifying the Texas wine, which is a good thing because these are really, really amazing wines, but they'd be surprised at how well they stand up. And I think they'd even select the Texas wine as being the best of the bunch. Okay, so that's my challenge to you. Grab some friends, buy some more wine, do some brown bag tastings, and have a blast. Okay, so let's taste this rosé because I can't wait any longer. I'm sure you've already dipped into it, which I hope you have. The color on this is just really, really beautiful. It's sort of like a pale salmon color, really, really exquisite. And again, the aromas are just terrific. For us, that's really one of the hallmarks of our wines as well, is that they're extremely aromatic. Even when you get our reds, there's just a lot there to enjoy from front to back. Okay, so take a sip. Oh yeah, that's good. I can hear you oohing and ahhing over already on your end there. This is really, really tremendous stuff. I get a lot of strawberry I get some raspberry. I get this juicy red apple characteristic that comes through. It is really, really delicious. This is something that you can pair with a lot of different foods. It's great with fruit salads. It's great with green salads. One of my favorites is a spinach salad with a little bit of goat cheese and beets. And you could do a few other things in there too. And this rosé is a tremendous pairing. It brings together sort of that richness and the flavors of the beets together with the goat cheese and the greens. Really, really yummy. But you could also pair this with pork chops, with chicken, with seafood. Really, the possibilities are endless. It's really very versatile, and it's delicious as well. Okay. You could also turn it into a spritzer. You should check out our video on our springtime spritzers. We use a Sauvignon Blanc in that video, but I also give you some recommendations on things that you can do with this rosé. So check that out. But this is just a fun wine that will keep you cool and refreshed throughout summer. I don't even want to put that one down. This I just want to keep drinking. I could drink this all day. You shouldn't see my bottle. My bottle's already empty on my end, so. So I've got one more wine to share with you, and this is really one of our most luxurious expressions from Reddy Vineyards. It's very, very small production, and that is our Reserve Viognier and Marcin. 2019 vintage, so this just came from last year's harvest as well. And this is really the pinnacle of the 2019 vintage for us. We made only 100 cases of this wine. And to put that in perspective, that's about 4 barrels worth of wine. So not a lot. Very, very small production. This is 75% Viognier and 25% Marcin. And we did some special stuff with this wine. In particular, we aged this in 50% new French oak. So if you think about those 4 barrels, 50% of the wine was from stainless steel tanks, and then the other 50% we put in 2 of the finest French oak barrels that you can purchase, and we let them age in there for about 5 months. What happens during that time is the oak barrel just infuses flavor and texture and aromatics into the wine. So when you compare a sample of the Viognier, for instance, from the barrel, and you compare that with a sample of the Viognier from the tank, you'll just get 2 very, very different wines. And for us, this is sort of where our handcrafted nature really comes in with these wines, because we're selecting only the best lots from our cellar in order to craft these types of wines. And I think it really shows through here. Okay, so the barrel aging on this wine will really give a much different flavor profile than what you got from the stainless steel fermented VMR white blend. So we're seeing 2 of the same varietals that we've already tried from the VMR, but the wine is going to be completely different. Okay, so pull that out, give yourself a pour. Right off the bat, you can see that this is the darkest of the wines in terms of color, just a really rich golden color. Some of that comes from that barrel aging, okay? And the aromas are much different as well. This wine in general, what you're gonna find is that it's got beautiful fruit characteristics, but it also has these other secondary notes or barrel influenced notes that you'll find that have really been infused into the wine. So you'll get, that yellow apple, you'll get some of that pear that you experience in the VMR, but at the same time, you'll also get a lot of like vanilla characteristics or cream. It's got this creamy, rich finish too. You'll get a little bit of oakiness, not like a big oaked Chardonnay, but just a hint that adds some depth and complexity You'll get a little bit of spice characteristics as well. This is really a wine that we've taken to the next level with our barrel program, and we're really proud to present this for you as something very special. So enjoy. Outstanding. It's rich, it's luscious, it's got that yellow fruit, it's got that big body to it, it's got that cream. For me, it's my favorite characteristic on this wine, just a creamy vanilla finish. It's like homemade whipped cream, kind of a characteristic, both in the flavor and also in the feeling of the wine on your palate. Just really good. The flavor just lasts forever, and it's just a really, really special wine. Again, only 100 cases produced. What's really neat about this wine too, it's something that you can enjoy now, or it's something you could cellar. This is a wine that will easily hold up in your cellar over a 5-year period, and it'd be really neat to grab a few different bottles and revisit that wine over a series of years and see how that wine develops. It certainly will change in cellar. The wine that you pull out 5 years from now will not be the same wine that you're tasting today, but what you're gonna find is because of the way that we crafted this wine and the characteristics that it has, the bright acidity, that creaminess, it's gonna keep developing into something that is really, really outstanding and very different, okay? So this has been a lot of fun. And that concludes the tasting of our 4 wines. I hope you've enjoyed. If this was your first experience and introduction to Reddy Vineyards, I hope you enjoyed it. You got to sample the wines that really represent Reddy Vineyards very well as that special reserve bottling as well. If you're a returning customer, we really thank you for your loyalty, and hope that you'll continue to shop with us in the future. If you haven't already, you should check out our wine club options as well at reddyvineyards.com. We offer a really tremendous wine club that I think is going to beat anybody else out there. There are 3 different clubs that you could select from: a 3-bottle club, a 6-bottle club, or a 12-bottle club. And we ship our wines quarterly. So you'll get a shipment in about February, one in about May, one in September, and then one right before the holidays as well. So you have this really nice flow of our premium estate wines delivered right to your door, and wine club members get exceptional deals. Not only do you get a permanent discount, which improves as you go up to the different levels of our clubs. You get that discount on all of our wines and merchandise. You also get free shipping on all of your purchases. You get VIP invitations and discounts to special events. And you also get preferential access to things like our reserve tier and limited production wines. So when those are produced in even smaller quantities or they're running low, we set those aside specifically for wine club members in particular, okay? Not only that, you can completely customize your wine club shipments. We give you the liberty to select the composition of your boxes. So we will curate them seasonally. But if you're really just a red drinker, you don't want any of these whites, you could select 100% red package. If you're not big into reds, if that doesn't work for you, and you really love these wines and you want to see more of these wines and more of these types of wines in the future, you could select 100% whites and a rosé. You can mix and match as well too, so you could really customize your tasting experience to what you want the most, which is really pretty special. It's not something that many clubs offer. So we're really proud to be able to do that for you. And then we'll curate those selections based on the seasons. You'll get some heavier wines in the fall and winter. You'll get some lighter style wines in the spring and summer. But again, those are based on your preferences and the styles of wines that you want to see tucked into your wine club boxes. Okay. Well, it's been a pleasure hosting you for this virtual tasting. We had a lot of fun here, and I hope you had a lot of fun on your end as well. From us at Reddy Vineyards, thank you very much, and have a nice night.